Hello and welcome. In this explainer, we're going to look at the small parts of language that actually make a really big difference. Prefixes and suffixes. You can almost think of them like secret codes that help us unlock and build all kinds of new words. I mean, have you ever really thought about it? How does a simple word like happy suddenly become unhappy? Or how does the word teach turn into teacher? Well, it all comes down to a few special letters added in just the right place. So here's what we've got lined up. First, we'll cover the basics of word parts. Then we'll dive into prefixes, and after that, suffixes. We'll compare the two side by side, and then, the best part, you'll get to try it all out for yourself. So, what exactly are these word parts we're talking about? Honestly, they're like the building blocks of our language. They're just special little groups of letters that we can attach to words we already know to change them in some pretty important ways. Let's start with the parts we add to the very front. Okay, let's jump right into our first topic, prefixes. You know, the clue is right there in the name. Pre actually means before. So it makes sense that these are the parts that come right at the beginning of a word. So here's the official definition, nice and simple. A prefix is just a group of letters that we add to the beginning of a word, and its job is super specific. Its whole purpose is to change that word's meaning. And what's so cool about this slide is you can see exactly how this works. The prefix un just means not. So unhappy literally means not happy. And re means again. So rewrite means to write again. See that pattern? Every prefix has one clear job it's trying to do. So here's a really great little trick to remember. Whenever you're reading and you spot a word with a prefix, just pause for a second. Ask yourself that question right there. It's an amazing tool for figuring out new words on the fly. All right, so we've covered the beginning of the word. Now let's flip over to the other side. We're heading to the end of the word to talk about suffixes. Okay, so a suffix is a group of letters we add to the end of a word. Now this is where it gets interesting because a suffix has a little extra power. It can change the word's meaning just like a prefix, but it can also change the word's job in a sentence. For example, it can turn an action into a person. And this slide shows that perfectly. Adding full to a word just means it's full of something. So joyful is full of joy. Adding less means without. So hopeless is without hope. And check out It takes the action, teach, and turns it into a person, a teacher. Pretty cool, right? And of course, we've got another great little trick for this one. When you see a suffix tacked onto the end of a word, just ask yourself what that ending is doing. Is it making something full of joy? Is it describing a person? This simple question will help you figure out its job. All right, we've looked at both of them separately, so now let's put prefixes and suffixes right next to each other, just to make the difference crystal clear. This right here is the main takeaway. Let's go through it slowly. Prefixes are at the beginning, and they change the meaning. Suffixes are at the end, and they can change the meaning or change the word's job. Before versus after. It really is that simple. Okay, you've got the ideas down. So now it's your turn. It's time to be a word detective. Let's try out these new skills with a couple of fun challenges. All right, ready for your first task? We're going to focus on adding those parts to the very beginning of the word. Take a look at these words on the screen. Your choices for a prefix are un, re, pre, and dis. Take your time with this. Which one do you think fits best with fair? See how you did. The correct words are unfair, reheat, preview, and disconnect. You can see how each one of those prefixes totally changes what the word means. That was really great work on that first round. Now let's switch gears. We're going to move our focus to the end of the word and practice with some suffixes. Okay, here are the next four words. The suffix options this time are full, less, and ness. What ending do you think we can add to care? And here we have the answers. What's kind of neat is that for care and help, you can actually use two different suffixes to create words with opposite meanings. You have careful and careless, or helpful and helpless. And then, of course, teacher and darkness. Okay, it is time for our final challenge. And this one puts everything we've learned together. Your job is simple. Just tell me if you see a prefix or a suffix. Look really closely at each word. In the word replay, is re a prefix or a suffix? In hopeless, what's less? Now, what about unkindness? And lastly, take a look at pretest. What is pre? Let's go through the answers nice and clear. Re in replay is a prefix, less in hopeless is a suffix, and unkindness, aha, that one was a bit of a trick question, wasn't it? It has both. Un is a prefix, and ness is a suffix. And finally, pre in pretest is a prefix. And just like that, you've unlocked a huge secret of the English language. You now have the tools to look at words in a totally new way. So, the real question I want to leave you with is this. What other words can you now build or break apart using everything you've learned today?